The tool I'm using, this one's called an EEPROM. That's the name brand. This is supposed to be a real one rather than a knockoff, is what I'm being told. It's a TL8662 Plus, so it does have a adapter on the side so that you're supposed to be able to program the EEPROMs on the circuit boards. But with this particular cluster, there's some kind of power overload protection built into these that shuts them off, and it goes into overload when you try to do it on the vehicle. So it must have some power sockets on it that hold power or something, and they backfeed. And so anyway, you have to remove the EEPROM to program it. So this is the box that mine came in. I think it was about 50 bucks on eBay, and this is the newest one. When I purchased it online, it had the downloads on his eBay. When I purchased it through the auction, it gave you the links to get all the downloads with the exception of the TacoSoft software. I found that on eBay as well. It was only $3, and they send you a download. Now, after doing some more research, I actually found out that TacoSoft software was available for free online. All you had to do is look for it. And I wish I would have known that, but hey, it only cost me $3, so whatever. So anyway, I thought you guys would be interested in knowing that little bit of information. All right, so we're going to start now by going ahead and plugging this system in here. Plugging this in here. We're going to open my computer. So the software that I use is the XG Pro to read the EEPROM, and to get the mileage calculator I use the Taco 231. So we're going to open the XG Pro. Now when it first comes up, they call this a buffer, all the F's and all the lines. Now for the GM vehicles, the Trailblazers and the Silverados up to the Trailblazers 2002 to 2006, and the Silverados 2003 to 2007 classic. They use a AT25020 at SOIC 8. Now, when you first get this here, you can go into this here, click it. You would type in 25020, and then you would click ETML, and then you would select the second line, AT25020 at SOIC 8. Select that, and then at the bottom you would hit select, and now that gives you your selected EEPROM. Now what you would do is plug your EEPROM in using the SOP socket, SOP8 socket, and you're gonna want this here. So when this end is facing here, you should be able to read the EEPROM. The number one chip will be, or the number one pin is the one on the side here, with this to the left. And you should have a small white dot on the top here on this side over here, closest to the one chip. And you should be able to read the EEPROM from this direction. Now, what we can do here, now that it's just sitting here, is it's plugged in. I can go up here to read, which is the R button. It's going to read. And right here it's telling me to use adapter SOIC 8, DIP 8, and it shows you a picture of it over here. And that is what this adapter is. It's a DIP 8 or an SOIC 8 adapter. Okay, and then it also shows you, we'll use the mouse, it shows you the little dot right there, and that dot is pin 1. And usually you should be able to read like I showed you, because there's your little dot, your little lock bracket, and you should be able to read it like I showed you. So anyway, right here, if you hit on the bottom here in the middle, the read button, it says pin detect error. So it did not read. So it's saying that there's an issue with my pin. So we'll go ahead and move it around, and we'll try it again and see what happens. Okay, so it says there's an error again. So it says these 2 pins on the top right are not reading. There's X's next to them, as you can see. So I'm going to pull my EEPROM out, and we'll clean it with some alcohol and then put it back in. Be right back. Okay, so I've cleaned the terminal. We'll go back and hit read again. Hit read. And as you can see, now it's working. So all I did was I took it out. I cleaned it with some alcohol. I used a little toothbrush, some alcohol. And there we have it. So, pin detected passed, read code time 0ms, read status regular success, read finish. Now you just hit cancel. And now you'll see that it's been read and it's showing there. Now it's showing here, but if you change any of those numbers, it will not affect your EEPROM, because all you did was read it. The only way to change the actual EEPROM is to hit the P button up there and hit program, and then you have to confirm it. So right now what we would want to do here is, now that we have it read, we're going to go ahead and put this down. Now we're going to go up to the Taco software. We're going to open the Taco software. Now this is a really important part here, because some people get really confused about this, and I'm going to explain here in a second. Okay, if I select car, GM, Chevy, I'm going to pick a Silverado because I want to show you guys something. I picked 2004 to 2007. Okay, so this is going to give me your little chart. It's basically explaining on the far left here, these are the lines. You've got line 0000, 0001, 0010, and 0020. Those 3 lines are the lines that the mileage are shown on. Those 3 lines are these 3 lines on the top, 000, 010, and 0020. Okay, now we just need to figure out which codes we'd want to change. Now this one's for a Silverado, and the reason why I'm showing you this is I want to show you something. If I entered, let's say I want to put 150,000 miles in here, and I entered 150,000, and I hit calculate. If you look right there, it says 150,000 kilometers. It doesn't say miles. So what that means is the Silverados, the Tahoes, the Yukons, all those style vehicles, the gauge cluster is programmed in kilometers, and then it's changed over to miles inside the car or the vehicle. So when you want to change your mileage, let's say you want 150,000 miles, you actually need to go on to Google. Let's see here. Uh-oh, hope I didn't just mess that up. You have to go on to Google here. My bad. You're going to type in convert kilometers to miles and hit enter. And then you're going to come over here to miles, and you're going to convert 150,000 miles, and that's going to be the kilometers. Oops. Gotta add this one more. Whoops, my bad. 150,000. 1, 2, 3. And that's kilometers is equivalent to 150,000 miles there. So that would be equivalent to 150,000. So now we're going to go back to this odometer value here, and we'll paste that in, and then hit calculate. And when I hit calculate there, this is the code that I come up with. 16E3. So it's telling me to enter 16E3. And it shows you on these three lines. So as I mentioned, this is kilometers converts to miles. But let's get back. I don't want to get too off track here. So let's go select vehicle, GM, Chevy, Trailblazer. Now we're going to select the Chevy Trailblazer. Now right here it tells you the chip that it uses, 95020. That is the new updated chip. The original chip that came with the vehicle was a 25020. So if you're going to replace the chip with a new chip, you're going to purchase a 95020. Now if you noticed here, it says 2002 year, and then it skips right to 2007. That means 2002 to 2006 are all the same. And then in 2007 it changes, and you can see there's a different chip number. So since we're working on a 2004, we'll go ahead and select that one. Now, okay, so now I'm going to enter 150,000 and hit calculate. That's going to give me 150,000 miles. That's going to be my code, 16E3. And then on the first line towards the end, it's 6016E3. So if you look here, it's going to give you your code, and it's pretty simple. If you read the top line, the first two, you can look on the top line, the first two is 0 and 1. So you can go right here to the top line, you can enter 16E3. Now the code here shows everything else is F's until you get to lines B, C, and D. So we're just going to go here. We're going to go FF, FF. Now line 6 was F7. We're going to make it FF. We're going to keep going until we get to B, C, and D. Now B is going to be 60, 16, E3, and then you have FF, FF. Now I'm on line 10. We'll pull this back up. Now you look here, because we use only where there's numbers is where the code goes. And then all the F's are F's, and then you put your code in again. So as you'll see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first 4 codes. And then at the end, you have 6016E3. So right here you go 6016E3. And what I did was, in order to know what number or letter to put this in, you go 2, 4. So you look on your line 0, 0, and you look to the back, you have 4 F's. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. That leaves me D, C, and B. So B, C, and D. So that's where the codes went. For lines for 0, 0, 1, 0, I look here and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 F's, so 7 groups of F's, excuse me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that leaves me line 7 to be 60, line 8 to be 16, and line 9 to be E3. And then, if I look up here again, it shows all F's at the end. So I should have, and if you look here under E, I have a 7. So I'll have to change this to FF. Okay. Now for, that was, all those are F's. Now I got to go down to lines 0 to 0. And I have 1, 2, 3 sets of F's. So 1, 2, 3 sets of F's. And that puts me on line 3. And my code is 60. Now let's look at this again. Now it tells you right here, not if there's X's there, which you see all the X's, do not change those numbers. It does not say to enter F's. It says do not change those numbers. So you got 1, 2, 3 sets of F's, and then your lines. So I've got 3 sets of F's, 1, 2, 3, and then I got my line, which I changed to 60, and then I do not touch any of those. So my code is written. I'm done. I can put this down. I can go up here to File, Save. I'm going to name this 2004 Trailblazer. And I'm going to name it 150,000 miles. And I'm going to name it New. And I'm going to hit Save. As you can see, it says file has been saved. And I'm going to hit OK. And now that I'm ready, I can actually go up to the P button up here. Hit P for program. I can just hit the P button. Before I do, we're going to test this. See if we can test. We're going to test to make sure that my EEPROM is still reading properly. So I've already saved this file. I can hit File, clear the buffer. So it's all F's. I can go over here to R for read. I can go ahead and hit read. And it read it, successful. It says pin detected, pass, everything was good. So I'm going to hit cancel. And I have a code up there. I'm going to go ahead and clear the buffer again. Now I'm going to go up here to File, Open. I'm going to go to the new bin that I just created, which is 2004 Trailblazer, 150,000 new bin. I'll double click that. I'll hit OK. There's my bin. Now I'm going to go up here to P for program. And I'm going to hit program. So it says pin detected, pass, pin protection disabled, OK, program code time, everything successful, and now I'm done. Now what I'll do is I'll hit File, clear all buffers, and now I'm going to read again my thing, my EEPROM, and it says it passed. I hit cancel, and this is now what's on my EEPROM, and it should match what was on there before if you wanted to double check anything. So we'll look at lines 0 and 1, and these are all F's. Then B, 60, 16, E3, and those are all F's. Go to lines 10, I should have 60, 16, and E3 on 7, 8, and 9, and everything else. Okay, so 10, I have an F7 right there, which is interesting. I didn't see that before. 60, 16, E3. These are all F's. We're going to go back and look at that and see if that was on the other one, or if that's if that automatically did something to me there. That's kind of weird. Okay, then on line 3, excuse me, you have the 60. So right there, that should be an FF, I believe. We're going to go back and read our little deal here. See if we have a problem here. So on line 2, right there, that should have been an FF, not an F7. So see, we checked something and we found something here. So we're going to go back now that we've read that. We're going to go File, Open, and we're going to actually go read our new bin here. And I want to see if it has an F7 right there. And as you can see, there is an F7 there, so we actually need to fix that and put FF, and then we need to hit File, Save, and we're gonna save it as the same file here. Let's go back to it, to new. We're gonna hit save. Does it say new bin already exists? Do you want to replace it? Yes. And we're gonna hit OK, because that was a mistake that I did not catch before. So it's a good thing that I double checked those 3 lines. So now we're gonna double check it again, make sure it's right. 16 E3 all F's. We go down to B. 60 16 E3 all F's. Here we should have all F's until we get to 7, 8, and 9. There's our code, and then all F's. And then lines 3 should be 60, and then we don't touch those. Now let's try again. We're gonna hit program, because we know it was wrong. We'll program it now. Detected pass, protection disabled, everything is good. We hit cancel. We're gonna go ahead and clear the buffer. We're going to go to read, since we just programmed it and everything was good. We'll read it. Success. Cancel. Now let's see. Okay, 16 E3 on lines there. B, C, and D. Good. There's now all F's here. We have 60, 16 E3 for 7, 8, and 9, all F's. And then lines 3 is 60. This EEPROM is now ready. We can close the file. You can close this. And you can now unplug the EEPROM and remove it and put it in your vehicle. It is ready to go. Okay, I've got it sitting on pretty square. We're gonna go ahead and get going here. Now to put this back on, I definitely don't want it blowing too hard because I don't want it moving the chip around. So I'm gonna let this get up to 350 degrees, and then I'm gonna turn it down to about 2.5. Maybe a little bit above 2.5, so we really don't want it moving around. It's working now. 150,000 miles. We're gonna have to change some lights still. I haven't done the lights yet, so we'll go change the lights now. Okay, key on, engine off. All my lights are now working. I'm super happy. As your emergencies are working. Left, right. All the lights are on. I got 150,000 miles. We still don't know. I gotta get a chip for that, for the trip meter, but otherwise, the chip for the chip reader, or for the trip. But anyway, we're gonna start putting it back together for now, and then see if I can get a new chip. All right, so it's all installed. And everything's back together. I did want to show you guys a couple of things. In order to take the dash out, you've got to take the screw out here, screw out here. You will have to at least lower this panel, just the 2 bolts on the top, to pop this out. You do not need to take the bottom apart. You just need to get this out so you can get the screws out. There's a screw here, and there's a screw on the other side, over on this side. So you'll need to, in order to get those, then there's a screw here and a screw here. There's also a screw right down here by the cigarette lighter accessory. Don't forget about that one. And that's how you get this thing out. And then just don't forget to unplug the 4-wheel drive and the rear windshield wipers. Don't forget to unplug the cigarette lighter accessory and the deal here. Once you get all that, you're all set. So also, I did want to point out, earlier in the video, I went ahead and I removed all these gauges and just pulled them off with the fork method, and I didn't mark them, and I told you guys that you'd just be able to reset them and put them back by swinging the gauge all the way and then swinging it back to 0. That is not true. And if you don't have all the wiring things to actually power it up and get it to what you have in order to check everything, then you got to come out here with the car and you got to key on, get everything to set, start the car, and then shut it off so that everything zeroes out. So that was a little bit of a pain. I honestly recommend that before you take these gauges off, these the orange piece there. Take a piece of masking tape, put it underneath it. Take your finger, roll the gauge, and then roll it all the way back till it stops. And then with the masking tape and a pencil, mark with a pencil where it points. And that will get all your gauges to sit exactly back where they were, and you won't have to sit and mess with it later. But I was able to get everything to work. 150,000 miles, and all my gauges are set and readjusted. And so we're ready to go. Now that we're at the end of the video, and some of you guys are probably wondering, okay, it read 150,000, but when you went and drove it, did it work? So we just got back, went and drove it for a couple miles, and you'll get to see now the miles are reading 150,004. So I went 4 miles. So, all right, thanks.